Hey everybody, once again, Eric Nentrup with Keep Indiana Learning for the 2022 Virtually Different conference here this summer, starting tomorrow. It's caught up to us super quick. And today I am going to be sharing, introducing you to a good friend of mine from Xello. Her name is Jessica Chow. But before I do, real fast, I want to thank everybody for participating in this conference and getting ready. We're going to be talking Xello next. And so you're going to want to have your conference agenda handy so that you can mark them in your book once you see what Jessica has to share with you. And without further ado, let me introduce you to Jessica Chow of Xello. Jessica, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much, Eric. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm very excited to be presenting as well as hopefully meeting a lot of you sometime this week. So without further ado, I'm just going to actually share my screen so that we'll have our presentation going. All right, so every Indiana student future ready with Xello. So before we begin, wanted to give a brief introduction. My name's Jessica. I am the Indiana Education Consultant, and I've been working with this organization for 4 years now. So time has definitely flown by. What's really unique about Xello is that, you know, it's such a unique experience to work with educators who are so passionate about students and future readiness. And a bit of a fun fact, I love traveling. So I've been to over 25 countries. Now with COVID restrictions lifting, I am hoping to make my way down to Indiana to hopefully meet a lot of you in person.
We're definitely your 26th country down here in Hoosierville. That's for sure, Jessica.
The country. I've been to the US before, but not specifically Indiana. But, you know, I'm always excited to try to explore new states that I haven't been to yet.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, that's amazing. So you've been with Xello for 4 years. I know you're going to get into your presentation here, but and we're both busy and hectic and such. But let's just take a second and breathe. How did you come by way of Xello? And were you a classroom teacher ever? You've been around if you've been there for 4 years, you know everything that we know. Is my guess when it comes to preparing students for what comes next, post-secondary planning and such, and how Xello supports that. But do you have an education career on the front lines like I did before jumping over to the vendor side?
Funny enough, no. I do have a background specifically working as in sales consulting, specifically for technology like SaaS. So when Xello came my way, you know, I really enjoy the SaaS industry, but also it's a unique opportunity to work with educators and to really support districts with their vision and helping and supporting students. That's something that's very different because it's not self-serving. It's a very generous industry. So that's really what caught my attention with Xello. And, you know, back in the day, I also used our older platform, Career Cruising. So it was familiar to me as well when I joined the company.
Fantastic. Well, I've heard nothing but good things about Xello around the country. But this is the first chance I've had to talk about Xello with Indiana educators. And of course, the Keep Indiana Learning Conference is the best place to do that. So yeah, I mean, it's not reading your slides the way my English students used to read their slides to me. But gee, Jessica, what is Xello? You talk about its legacy there a little bit. Let's orient everybody as to how to fit Xello into their shopping cart, shall we?
Definitely, yes. So most importantly, you know, we are a K through 12 college and career readiness program. So whether you are an elementary counselor or principal, all the way to high school, where students are preparing for college or the workforce, we have all of these solutions in one place for you. And most importantly, it's been user tested by students in these specific age groups. And that's really what drives those higher login rates and those higher engagement rates, as students are utilizing a platform that's really been developed for them and for their ease of use. And I'd say that ever since, you know, we started to launch this platform that's really meant for the students, for the optimal engagement, we have definitely garnered a lot of attention in Indiana as part of our dedication to really support Indiana districts. So we are an official approved vendor by the Indiana Department of Education. And we also partner as well with Central Indiana Education Service Center, CIESC, to really help promote as well as provide an alternative resource to districts across the state. And the engagement numbers that I wanted to share with you just reflects on just how we really differentiate ourselves from other vendors, where we really see that when students are using our platform, it's not just something that students log on, during the school hours. Perhaps they do it once or twice a week. It's meant to be a platform that students actually reflect back on, and they make some future plans based on their saved careers as well.
For sure.
Perfect. In addition to supporting Indiana districts, we support Indiana districts by really understanding all of your specific priorities and requirements. So for instance, career development and planning to four-year course plans that are data integrated to really help your students be able to keep track of all of their high school credits, CTE pathways, all the way to even supporting educators with a lot of reporting. For instance, application tracking for the college applications, employability skills, which I know is so important as to really fill that skills gap in the workforce in the state. We really help support the employability skills along with the Indiana graduation pathway tracking. So you're really seeing this all-encompassing tool that really helps educators be able to do their jobs a lot more efficiently, but to also support your students with everything that they need to be successful.
Now, the graduation pathway tracking, that's extremely relevant for the kind of work that you're doing. And I'm not telling you anything new, totally preaching to the choir, but as someone who taught only and administrated only in Indiana, but then worked with school districts outside after I left the classroom, it occurred to me that Indiana graduation pathway tracking is such a need for student or for admissions staff, administrators doing master schedule planning. And to have all of that in one platform that understands this state by state and brings, user interface or user experience conventions to Indiana, we as educators may not understand the amount of work that goes into that for the Xellos of the world that are paying attention to what gets published by the state. And I do love it that the state affords different pathways for Indiana students, but I have to be preaching to the choir to say that Indiana's graduation pathways may be a little bit more onerous than our neighboring states at times. So I'm excited to learn more about this, but I do not want to steal any thunder from your presentations Tuesday and Wednesday.
No problem.
But at least at this point, I'm giving you kudos and saying I've got popcorn over here. I'm waiting to see what this looks like.
All right, sounds great. And I'll show you just a little bit of a snippet as well. I mean, it's really our passion. How can we serve Indiana students without understanding what they want, and also graduation pathways? It seems very, very daunting. I say that this next slide just really illustrates what I mentioned before about how we are more student-centered. So back in the day, we used to be an older platform called Career Cruising, and over the past, I'd say like 6 years prior, we found that there was a kind of a steady decline in student usage in our platform. So when it came to college and career exploration, students weren't really engaged with our platform, and therefore they weren't really given the tools to make some meaningful pathway planning. And a lot of our platforms will help you check the boxes. For instance, graduation tracking, check. Employability skills, check. But students are not actually engaging and absorbing the information in a meaningful way. So we took in all of this information 6 years ago. We did a lot of research as well with other similar vendors, and really found that, with the rise of social media, a lot of students now are always accessing their education online. We needed to have a platform that really adapted to this trend. And that's how we created Xello. We essentially rebranded our entire platform, and every single aspect that you see in our platform has actually gone through user testing with students in these specific age groups to make sure that, keeping in mind colorblind students, for example. I think about like 5% of students are colorblind. And so we've even carefully selected the color palettes to make it compatible with students who do have that specific aspect. So,
equity and accessibility. Yeah. Sorry,
exactly.
Didn't mean to step on you there.
No problem. And that's exactly, what we found. So this here, and I'm just going to show you a little bit of a snapshot into, some aspects of our platform. But most importantly, I also wanted to share with you that last year we did a lot of surveys and a lot of presentations for Indiana educators. And we actually found that these were probably the top four most important
Hmm.
aspects that educators valued when they
Hmm.
were evaluating platforms like ours. User
Hmm.
friendliness, seamless data integration, meaningful
Hmm.
reports like the graduation pathway tracking, and optimal customer support. So, how do we really target these four priorities? Well, with the user friendliness, it kind of leads into what I mentioned before. It's been user tested by students and educators. Our entire platform from grade 6 through 12 is written at a sixth grade reading level as well,
Oh,
so that
wow.
every student, regardless of what their reading capabilities are, will have equitable access to our platform.
Mm.
And that means that every student can access it with ease. On top of that, we keep in mind as well demographics, making it inclusive and accessible to everyone. So we're also professionally translated into Spanish as well. That means that we don't use Google. We actually have a professional translator that translates our entire platform,
Yes.
including our family portal, into Spanish. So that really helps a lot of your ELL students, perhaps parents that want to get more involved. We don't want language to be the only reason why they don't feel engaged. And most importantly, we don't want students to be going through career profiles of people that have been taken like maybe 10 years ago. All the pictures have been taken within the past 1 to 2 years with very updated images so that students really see themselves in these careers. Yeah,
Definitely.
exactly. And in addition to 6 through 12, as we understand, there's a big need for that. We also have a K to 5 platform as well. So really creates that scope and sequence for any of, the elementary counselors and principals in the room. You'll definitely understand, the need to introduce even your young kids to the building blocks of what it means for decision making, for instance, and these skills. And so we haven't forgotten about that. Our K to 5 platform is really meant to give students this introduction into, those life skills. So second is data integration. Technology matters. How can you access a platform when it's really difficult to access, to log on? So, we meet all the federal guidelines around accessibility. As I mentioned before, colorblind students, professional translations into Spanish. We also, as well, are compatible with programs like Screen Reader, so that if students do require that to
Ah,
access software, we are compatible with that as well. We fully integrate with all of your student information systems, and that really helps you
yes.
be able to develop these reports, graduation tracking, rostering for your students, especially with large classes or large student populations. We take care of all that for you, including single sign-on as well. So I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the
Oh,
notion of forgetting your password, right? And then you spend like minutes trying to
mhm.
figure it out. We take care of that for you as well. And then lastly, we work flawlessly on various mobile devices. So not just the laptop, but if students use Chromebooks or iPads, this is what it looks
Mhm.
like, and even your smartphone as well. So as you can see,
Mhm.
we really take accessibility into account when it comes to our platform.
You sure
And
do.
that's
And
just,
as you move, oh, I'm sorry, real
yeah,
fast,
no problem. Yeah.
because I think it intersects with this slide too. Here, real fast. I I know from my own experience in my very first days in the classroom, I just didn't know what to call it at the time, but that data interoperability is sort of the most valuable uh, sort of undergirding to that data being in the right place at the right time, so that you can make a decision and stay focused on students, right? And
Exactly.
that even applies. Okay, so that's fantastic. Uh,
Mhm.
as part of your implementation, you get all those integrations put into place with the modern components that are part of the Xello, and that translates back to the educators, as I see in this slide, and where you're headed next, Jess, with
Mhm.
regards to being able to take that data and make meaning from it in your PLC, amongst your admissions department, or is it, like I said earlier, as administrators huddling around this time of year, trying to make staffing decisions based on the master calendar and student need aligned to a particular individual's graduation pathway, And you need that reporting data. And the only way that you have that is if that data interoperability was done first, as you alluded to in the last slide. Talk to us about reporting and how that impacts planning and thinking and decision-making and improves morale. I mean, like, I can't imagine this is just a laundry list of the outcomes. So tell me more.
Yeah. So, with our reports, they're very easy to access, but most importantly, it can give you insight into a live look into what your students are working on. So, for instance, if you're planning a career fair, or maybe you want to take a look at how many students are enrolling in a specific CTE program. This is just a snapshot, and tomorrow I will share with you a bit more about the reports, but you can pull reports to really make these long-term decisions. For instance, you can pull a report of your incoming high school freshmen to really see, what specializations are they selecting in high school, and also perhaps what are their top career matches. And that can really help you create some, very targeted activities and even delegate specific targeted information as well to these groups of students. What's not as visible here is that in terms of the reports, you also have the ability as well to even filter out the students based on student groups, classes, grades, for instance. So it really helps you understand your student population, and it really then supports educators to make some much more meaningful decisions when working with your students.
Love it.
Yeah. And, in addition to reports, customer success is probably one of our kind of the foundation. We truly value that because, if you have a platform like ours that is so comprehensive and in-depth, yes, we can certainly support you. But, a lot of you will need training. A lot of you will probably have a lot of questions of how we can best support you. And so when you partner with Xello, you basically get an unlimited lifetime access to customer support. We don't believe in contract hours. You can always book time with us, and we will sit down and help you work out through any specific goals you have. The data integration as well. You also have an onboarding team that works specifically with you with the data integration. So, your IT team will also be very well supported by our onboarding team. And then, of course, if you need additional trainings, we have also workshops available as well to maneuver around perhaps specific skills you want to obtain from our platform, but even change management as well. We have this experience working with different populations of schools to really help that seamless transition over to our platform, both at a school as well as admin level as well.
That is a ridiculous value.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
school administrators particularly. Yeah.
Yeah, plays a big role in setting you up for success. What you see here is just an example of our team. So for instance, I work very closely with all the districts that are evaluating the platform to see what's most suitable. And we also have a territory director, Sharon, as well, that really is an expert in Indiana. And then next, you get an onboarding manager as well as a key account manager or a success manager to really help you with kind of the day-to-day questions you might have. And then even a dedicated training specialist as well. So Indiana districts are essentially very well supported with an entire team that backs you up. Most importantly, part of the reason why I've been at this company for 4 years is that I work very closely with this team. And so we've really developed an understanding of the needs in Indiana, as well as just that constant communication. We're always on the same page in terms of, how we can best support Indiana districts.
Love it.
Perfect. And this here is just a little snapshot in terms of the work that we have done. So in addition to our growing presence in Indiana, we've also worked for many years with other states as well, both at the district as well as state level as well. So it's really this amount of dedication that we have to truly understand the needs of a state, the district, down to the specific schools.
Love it. I can't help but notice plenty of friends in that particular list there, which bodes very well for Xello being trusted in Indiana. We have a minute or two left here. Jessica, did you want to try to show us a video?
Yes, it's going to be really quick. Let me see if it works.
Okay, you are full screen.
Student engagement is critical in college and career exploration.
In order for them to be able to make informed decisions, of course, they have to be engaged in a program that's going to have them come back and learn more and more about each of the college and career readiness opportunities they have.
If students are not an active participant in making their choices, exploring careers, finding schools, it's not going to be successful for them in the long run.
After seeing Xello, the one thing that stood out to me was the ability for the students to be able to relate to the actual program itself.
Xello is a much more engaging application than what we've had before.
Using a platform like Xello allows students to access the information and resources wherever they are, whenever they need to, and whenever they want to.
Kids love it. They would just spend 45 minutes the entire class period just exploring in the platform.
It appealed to students. It was more like a social media page.
Xello has helped our student engagement by providing students online access to a platform where they're able to explore.
The team at Xello has been very supportive for us in terms of the initial setup and then any questions that we have or issues that we have.
They are always willing to help via Skype and online.
It's not one of those disassociated relationships where it's all about me selling you your product and I'm walking away from you at the end of the day. No, I really feel like I'm a part of the Xello family because of the support that I have received from the team.
If you are considering adopting Xello in your school districts, I would tell you that it's a wonderful platform that engages all students at all levels.
I would say definitely consider Xello as your career and college platform.
I think when adults are using that application and they do it for themselves, they find, oh, I wish I would have had this when I was a student so that I could have a better sense of how I would choose my career path.
Jess, that's I just shot you a private message while the video was playing that I wanted Xello as a student. For crying out loud, that is amazing.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like that reaction. I sometimes wish that I had it too back then, a platform like this. And that's the kind of reaction that we always like to hear because, it's meant for the students and meant to bring some clarity. So, yeah.
Well, as we wrap. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry,
Well,
no,
I stepped on you again.
I accidentally started playing the video again. But yeah, sorry, just some technical aspects.
Well, those testimonies are powerful enough, and just the little glimpse of the product itself was enough for me to go, yeah, that feels right. So as we wrap things up here with our 20-minute time that we have today, I don't want to steal thunder from your presentation Tuesday or Wednesday. Can you tell us where to find Xello at the event as it kicks off tomorrow?
Yeah, definitely. So tomorrow we will be presenting. I will be doing a presentation at 11:30, and simply hop into our. I believe that online we have sort of this online vendor. Hop in there,
That's right.
and that's where I'll be doing the presentation. And it's tomorrow at 11:30 to noon. And then if you can't make it tomorrow, not to worry. On Wednesday, I will also be presenting as well from noon until 12:30.
Super. All right. Well, everybody, you heard those time slots for Tuesday and Wednesday. Be sure to reach out to Jess if you have any questions. I'm super excited about what Xello's done. Like I said before, I've heard about their work. Their reputation precedes them. And just hearing this little snapshot from Jessica, I know good and well the Indiana educators are going to be responsive, especially with the partnerships that they've worked to forge here. So lastly, I just want to thank you for your time today, Jess, but also for all the work that you're doing to help students across the country, but particularly here in Indiana. We know good and well how much Xello is going to help students get oriented and stay on track, not just for graduation, but way beyond. So phenomenal work. You guys are doing a great thing for kids, and happy to have met you today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you this week.
Yes. All right, everyone, take care. Be sure to check out Xello at the Keep Indiana Learning virtually different conference kicking off tomorrow. Once again, Eric Netrup with Keep Indiana Learning. I'll see you all the next time.